Hi guys, it's Heather here. Welcome back to No Muck. So the big question is, how is Psy doing? Especially living overseas. I've gotten that question asked over and over again, so I just wanted to address it for this week. Silas is doing well. He is really thriving living here, and we had, like I said, every reason not to move here because of Psy's medical issues. And just to give you a little bit of background, when Silas was born, from the moment he started eating, he couldn't keep anything down. And we knew right away that something was wrong, and he went just through lots of different testing and procedures, and nobody could figure out what was wrong with him. And then finally, when he was 3.5, we flew him up to Cincinnati Children's Hospital, and he spent a week up there, and he was diagnosed with what's called Eosinophilic Esophagitis. And it's called EOE for short, and it's basically when your body sees food as a foreign invader. So to make a very long story short and to oversimplify it, it's almost like his body was allergic to all food, which is actually uncommon with the disease because usually there's just a few foods that cause problems for people, and then they can just eliminate those foods and they're fine, or they can take steroids and it helps. But for Silas, we tried everything and nothing worked for him. And so then he was living just on elemental formula. And after, I'm trying to remember now, was it a couple years of food trials, and he had failed everything, they just realized that he was allergic to the elemental formula itself. So what do you do at that point when you've exhausted all measures of Western medicine? And so someone introduced us to the Gerson Therapy. We were kind of naysayers in the beginning, but Jordan being a paramedic, he was just like, this makes sense in a lot of ways, just how the body works and can heal itself. And so we prayed through it, and it's a long story, but there were just so many doors open for us to do this because no way would it have been possible for us to do it on our own. And so we started with therapy with Silas, and it was incredibly intense. It was 8 hours of prepping. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, it is a nutritional therapy where you drink 10 to 13 freshly made juices a day. That's the key. It needs to be freshly juiced. And with him, he wasn't even on full Gerson as far as food. Like, we were doing the protocol, but because he was allergic to food, he was just eating like small amounts, and we would introduce one food at a time. And then, it was just crazy, just the way doors opened. And Anderson Cooper, the news anchor from CNN, he used to have his own talk show, and so he flew us up to New York and actually did a very extensive interview with Silas. So I will link that below so you guys can watch that if you want. And it was just crazy. So life was very challenging during those years. I was pregnant and had a new baby and homeschooling the kids, and there was just a lot going on. But then Silas ended up in remission, and it was amazing. And that was one of the doors that opened for us to come to South Africa. And when Jordan scouted out South Africa, he was like, as far as a food standpoint, I think this can really work for Silas. And South Africa has enough of a first world infrastructure that we felt like we could find a good hospital if necessary within the country as well. So we came, and Sai's been doing really, really well. We did have him scoped, and we didn't love what we saw in the results, but it was a bit confusing because they actually do scopes and biopsies a bit different here. So it's not like we're in an urgent situation or anything, but we are definitely just looking for next steps and just how to find a good medical team for him here. We're also planning on going back to the States soon just for a visit, but that might be a time where we can kind of revisit some of Sai's old doctors, although, medical insurance is different now. If you would just keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Like I said, it's nothing urgent, but we would like to be able to connect with the perfect people for his health within the next couple of months. And I also just wanted to give you guys an update. This week especially is just kind of a big week for me because Psy is away at overnight camp. And It's only 3 days and 2 nights, but a few years ago, I would have said that this day would have never have been possible. So, yeah, I was just so excited, and our church was like, absolutely, we can accommodate Psy, just bring us his food. So, we brought like the bags and the cooler and stuff, and Psy knows how to like prepare his food in the kitchen there. And yeah, they were just so happy to do whatever it took for Psy to be able to go. So I am just so excited about that. And, otherwise he's just really thriving here. He's a straight A student. He plays baseball here, believe it or not, because this is a cricket nation and rugby and soccer. But we actually found a baseball team, and he plays on that, and he just loves it. And yeah, he's just like any other kid, and he still teaches me so much every day, because I'm the mom that struggles not to have a piece of dark chocolate every day. And just his attitude about things is just amazing, because he's still probably only on, I don't know, maybe like 10 to 15% of the Gerson diet. Like, he only has about 15 whole foods that he eats right now. He's still eating his oatmeal and his Hippocrates soup, and doesn't complain, and still likes to smell your food occasionally. And he's just amazing in his attitude in that way. And God is just constantly just showing me so much just about myself, and like the ways that I can just be so selfish about things just through my son. So anyway, it's been really neat just to watch his journey. And I think I mentioned this before, but I will include the links of when he was interviewed with Anderson Cooper, so those of you new to his story can have a better understanding. And yeah, I just wanted to give you guys the update while he was gone at camp. So, and he's always fine with me sharing, by the way. But anyway, I hope that you guys have a great week. Thank you for tuning in. And just remember, a life with no muck is your best life. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.